on the News Channel 5 network. This is Inside Politics.
Hello, everyone. I'm News Channel 5's political analyst, Pat Nolan. Welcome to Inside Politics. While the nation and the world continues to struggle to contain the COVID-19 pandemic, the city of Nashville is dealing with a triple whammy. That includes not only having to contend with the virus, but also the devastating March 3rd tornado that ravaged several neighborhoods across the city. There's also the very difficult financial condition that Metro was already in and has now gotten worse. To talk about all these challenges today, our guest on Inside Politics is Mayor John Cooper. Mayor, with all you have on your plate these days, thank you for taking the time to be with us.
Well, thank you, Pat. It's an honor to be on your show again.
You knew when you ran for mayor last summer that you faced a difficult budget situation when you came into office. Now comes the tornado, and then about a week later, the pandemic. Would you like to turn back the clock and get a redo on the entire month of March?
Well, yes, but we did well. You know, I mean, we had no notice, really, particularly for the tornado, and Metro responded very well. Beautifully. In terms of the tornado, the best in the country that I think could ever happen. The pandemic, we're all grappling with that. The hard thing in Nashville is we started out with few financial sort of resources or few financial safety pools of money. And so now we've got to add that fix into the mix.
Has this been the most challenging time in Metro history, and is the biggest challenge yet to come?
Well, I think so. I mean, I'd welcome your view on that. It's hard to think of any bigger challenge for a city because we started out, you know, it wasn't that long ago, the controller was saying you have to balance your budget. You have all kinds of practices that need to be changed. We were in the process of changing that, providing a cushion, a financial cushion for the city, and then tackling all these problems that we want to get addressed as a city, and then boom, we have an emergency that we have to address first.
We have all these models that have come out. The ones on the national level are scary, that even if everybody complies with the social distancing, we're looking at deaths of somewhere between 100,000 and 240,000. Do you have models like that? What does it show for Nashville?
Well, models are just a tool to inform what level of response you need to have. We don't know that much about the disease. It may be that warmer weather helps us a great deal. But you've got to respond to the models that you see that have been created by epidemiologists, and Vanderbilt has a lot of great ones. And so I think we in the state are proceeding now on a path of the most recent model, which does show that we need additional hospital bed capacity. Now, right now, hospitalizations are very good in Nashville. I think between 20 and 30. We are not overwhelmed, but we're being informed by an epidemiology case that in a few weeks, we have to be prepared for a much worse condition.
So
today's news was pretty good. You know, we are only up 20 more cases. If that were to continue, that'd be fantastic, but we just have to be prepared for the worst.
So at this point, you're taking the idea that a mid-March, mid-April, April 18th and 19th as the peak of all of this. You're taking that seriously, even though you're not exactly sure, because the models change almost every day.
Well, for sure. And we're grateful to social distancing giving us this time. We need to use it well, and we need to be prepared. And that's the value of Safer at Home, is to give us time to prepare and to flatten the curve. You're going to have a lot of cases, undoubtedly, but you want to be able to have a healthcare system that can handle the cases.
Is your Safer at Home order working to bend the curve, and what would you have to be able to prove that, to show that?
Well, it's hard to prove. What would it have been if you hadn't done it? But I'm very gratified how much Nashville is complying with it. I mean, the reality is we have some teams out, you can call them 10 enforcement teams, but reality, they're teaching teams. They're going on a case-by-case basis and helping to teach what safe social distancing is. Because they have customers, all these businesses have customers and employees that want to be safe too. And the idea then of private gatherings putting people at risk, of course, none of us are for that. And it's hard to stay inside so much, to socially distance so much, but it is giving us the time to put together a better response should the worst happen. which is in a few weeks you might have a kind of a shockwave of this disease coming through Nashville, and we want to be ready for that.
There's a national study that I've seen using cell phone use patterns. It gives Tennessee overall a D- for social separation. Based on what you know, are we doing worse than that in Nashville or better?
From what I've seen, we're doing better. Now, of course, we adopted early to a safer at home. And I think our parks usage is a little bit high under that data, but then recently we've removed basketball nets and tennis nets, and we're pushing people to distance themselves even in our park system. But we got started early in Nashville. One of the, if you look at the New York Times chart, we're a welcome white dot in terms of lower activity here. And I think we should be proud of ourselves for getting on it earlier, and that's going to help our region.
Your essential businesses that are allowed to stay open under your order seems to be pretty broad when you just go down and read all of them. Are you looking to see whether it's too broad in order that maybe you need to ratchet that in a little bit more?
Yes, I think we're all learning together what's essential. People may have to stay in place at home for a while, so you're going to need to have everybody be served also during that period of time. And food has been the first challenge of how to do that correctly. And then I think a little bit by little bit, pharmacies, other retail stores, people are beginning to learn how to do this. Even waiting in line on the curb for takeout to distance yourself there. Again, this is why the 10 teams are, you can call them enforcement, but really they're teachers. They're going around at spaces and showing how to do it right and how to do it safely.
You've received a number of complaints. You've asked for those about people and businesses staying open. Yeah. At this point, do you think you'll be able to handle it with just warnings? Are you going to have to go to citations or even arrests?
Well, I do. I mean, people are always willing to kind of, you want to be prepared, and what does it mean? But right now, it's 100% compliant when we've been out and showing people the right way to do it. People are worried about their customers and their employees and serving the community. So we really don't have any direct problem on this, but anybody showing up needs all the tools to get people's attention. I think the state feels the same way.
We're talking with Nashville Mayor John Cooper about the coronavirus going on here in Nashville, what else needs to be done, and also about the financial issues the city has. Back to continue our conversation with the mayor after this break.